So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Planets Through Ascendant series. And today we're going to be covering Moon in the 8th house in Sagittarius for Taurus Ascendant people. And what happens when Moon is in the 8th house in the sign of Sagittarius while it rules the 3rd house with Cancer. And as always, if you do not know if you have this moon, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the other astrological details, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, my books, consultation, and link to my school, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy, where I teach the deepest, darkest secrets of astrology. Well, not darkest, but semi-dark. Anyway, let's get started with Moon in the 8th house. So, in the 8th house, such a person, first of all, see, anytime you are going to judge Moon, you shouldn't just judge Moon that, okay, my Moon's in the 8th house, this and this is supposed to happen, because it doesn't happen that way specifically with Moon. Why? Because you have to first see, is the Moon waxing or waning in your chart? Is the Moon a no Moon? Is the Moon eclipsed? All these things matter when you're trying to judge the good and bad effects of the Moon. Because even if Moon is in an enemy sign, it'll give great results. But if it's in one of these situations like I explained, like especially waning Moon, it'll have a different effect in your life. Now, one of the things we see, because Moon rules the 3rd house and sits in the 8th house, this person becomes a great salesman of dealing with other people's wealth. Like, for example, this is a person who can do very well in wealth management because they can speak. Okay, 3rd house is speaking, salesmanship. Moon is a merchant. And because it's going in the 8th house, they know how to sell products related to wealth management, asset management, insurance, inheritance, dealing with wills and estates. So that's the first thing we see. Naturally, a person is interested in philosophy, interested in psychology, wanting to learn about the higher knowledge. But their version of the higher knowledge, okay, the way they understand the higher knowledge, the philosophy, has a darker tone to it, has a outcast tone to it. They look at things outside the box. Meaning, if they read a Bible, they read Bhagavad Gita, they will have their own mediating translation of these holy books. They will not be so gung-ho about what these things mean, what these things are. They'll kind of let you be the way things are. Also, such a person finds a very intelligent spouse after marriage. Spouse is able to manage wealth. Spouse can actually be quite frugal. And this can show, one thing it can show though, is a bit of a rift with the in-laws. Because there will be, the reason why the rift will come, okay, it'll be good. At sometimes it'll be excellent, but sometimes the rift will come due to inheritance issues or hidden money issues. Like, for example, somebody's married, and if a person has Moon in the 8th house and they're married, they'll be fighting with in-laws about, hey, what about my husband's inheritance? What about my wife's inheritance? Those things can get really tangled up. The other thing we also see is that a person likes to communicate usually in privacy of their own home at night in a confined space. Anything they sell, anything that they do, they want to do it from a confined space. They're not the type of people who will be out in public, hey, you want to buy this, you want to buy this. No. They're the people who will call from their own office, who will perhaps, especially nowadays, interact with you over social media privately. But they'll be very good at selling whatever they're selling. And such a person becomes an excellent writer of dealing with transformation and death. They can write, eloquently when it comes to explaining things which are quite darker in nature. Now, as you know, moon represents the mother as well. And this does not mean that you will have a bad relationship with the mother, but what it does show, mother could deal with like chronic health issues. Especially such a person will have a good relationship with a younger sibling, but a younger sibling could be living far away. Now, if a malefic impact is there, or like the scenarios that I told you early on, a person may not have a younger sibling, or they just won't have that closeness with a younger sibling. They will not have that good of a relationship with a younger sibling. And such a person, especially if it's a waning moon or a no moon, and especially if it's a heavy waning moon, like moon is just like one house away from the sun or the same house as the sun, this person can easily become violent because of their own moralistic views. They're like, something is wrong with the world. This is not right. Things have to change. I will change it. Because Sagittarius is a very heavy sign. It's a heavy, one of the heaviest signs, because it is the Trikon, the highest of the Trikon, and it's ruled by Jupiter, who is naturally the heavy one. So, it is not an easy sign to deal with. As much as we see that moon loves being in Sagittarius, but it's heavy. It's heavy on the mind. You're constantly fighting battles within your head about morality. But it is great for, joint assets. It's great for wealth management, like I said. And of course, I can't just say that this is what a person is going to do. I mean, you can have a scientist, you can have a lawyer with this, position. You just have to look at other planetary placements. Okay. So this was my analysis of moon in the 8th house for Taurus ascendant in Sagittarius. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. If you want to know where your planetary placements are, my books, reports, consultation, link to my school, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.